do it. Coffee's here. I'm here. You're here. There's nothing else I need. Tablet? Juiced up? No, let's turn it on this time. I could still use a laptop if need be. Hurrah. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday. It is June 1st, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. That was really hot. Oh, that was a little too hot. Good morning, Francis. Well, it's June. My birthday's in a week. I just burnt my tongue on some coffee. And I had a pretty good Monday. How about you? How was your Monday? I worked until 1:30. So I finished up here, went to my desk, did some work on a number of things, got through some email, forgot to talk about the fact that we released an episode yesterday. Shihan Michael Salona was yesterday. I hope you checked it out. We had a good time. We had a good conversation. What else happened yesterday? I took a nap. I haven't taken a nap in a while. I took a nap for about an hour. And I contemplated for a while. I thought about this. Am I going to leave the house? Because it was a little rainy, not bad, but a little rainy. Francis says, excellent chat with Mr. Salona. Good, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Because of course I mentioned on Monday, or I mentioned yesterday, that on Sunday I ended up with a flat tire on the car. And unlike some people, if I've got the spare on the car, I don't drive it anywhere if I can help it. If there's something critical, yeah, I'll do that. But I'm not going to risk that, because what happens if you get a flat in the donut or another tire? Then you have to call a tow truck, and that's silly and expensive. But I do have another form of transportation, my motorcycle. And I thought for a while, do I do this? Do I take my motorcycle out for the first time for the year, this year, in the rain, to go to the gym? That seemed awfully silly. But I did it, and I'm glad I did. Looks like the tire's getting fixed tomorrow. Anything else happened yesterday? Just did a bunch of work. Had one client meeting. The other two were canceled for yesterday. And everything went well. I felt productive. Now today, got a bunch of stuff going on. Got a meeting this morning with Justin. Why did I forget his name? That's weird. My brain's not working. With Justin about Martial Journal. We are expecting to have the first issue sent off to the printer very, very soon. So it is entirely possible, after I look at what he has revised, I might have some things that I want to change on it. But once we put that to bed, that's all we need. And we're going to ship it off. And issue 1 will be in the mail. I'm super excited. And if you have, last I looked, we had like 2 slots left. So if you haven't, go to, let's see, what's the best place to find it? The sign-up form. The best, thank you, Stacy. I think the best place to find the sign-up form, if you go to the Martial Journal Facebook page, that's probably the one that requires the least work. Francis says, the print Martial Journal issue is such exciting news. Thank you. I'm very pumped about it. Super excited. We've got some big name advertisers. We've got some great content. It's going to be fun. After that, a little bit after that, I have someone arriving. Andrew and I are going to record in person. He wanted to come up, so he's coming up. So we're going to record. I'm not quite sure where we're going to record. Maybe we record on the couch. But I've got a feeling we're going to end up in the warehouse, in the training space. So I've got some stuff to clean up before he gets here. And then I've got 2 other episodes today. Man, it's going to be a busy day. It's still raining out, but everything is so green. It's kind of cool. This reminds me of Ireland. When I was in Ireland, everything was just so green. You couldn't look outside and see something that wasn't green. It's all green. It's all green or brown. There's nothing else right now. And the flowers will open up as the day warms. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else to say. I'm running through the list. Audiobook hasn't been approved yet. We're still working on a bunch of other books. I worked on the website for the books yesterday. Not for long, just a little while. I'm chipping away at that. That one's taken a while because it's not a priority. By the time I work on it, by the time I get the stuff done that I need to get done, there isn't a lot left up in the brain to work on more websites. I'm thinking. Nope, I think this is all I got. That's all I got. So let's see what you guys have. I feel like I should have more to say, but, with a holiday Monday and a short work day, how much can I say about taking a nap? How much can I say about making dinner? There's not much to say there. And I do try not to bombard you guys with silliness, or at least boringness. And we do have some things here, courtesy of Frank, that YouTube is refusing to show me. So, we go to Facebook. Today is Go Barefoot Day. If you know anything about me, you know I like being barefoot. When I go to the gym, I'm in socks. The last gym I worked out at, I was completely barefoot. Almost all the time. If it was cold, maybe I'd wear socks. If it was really, really cold, I might wear shoes. When I run barefoot. When I go hiking next week for my birthday, I will be barefoot. I like being barefoot. It feels good. It's good for your feet. It's good for your whole body. I will spare you some of the stronger perspectives I have of being barefoot, but I don't usually have to convince martial artists too hard of that. All right, what do we got here? I'm thinking how I want to incorporate this in. Why do we take our shoes off in class? I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know where that tradition comes from. I suspect it started from the same cultural traditions where in I'm not familiar with all Asian cultures, that I'm going to say all Asian cultures, but in the cultures that I'm familiar with, people take their shoes off when they go inside. Why? Because keep you from tracking dirt in. I would imagine the reason that we take our shoes off in a lot of martial arts schools is for the very same reason. Keeps things cleaner. Keeps you from kicking sand in somebody's eye. If anybody out there knows a more fundamental reason that we do that, let me know. Stacy says, I love being barefoot. Sadly, my flat feet and ankles do not agree about barefoot classes. Well, not to play too much of a contrarian, but in time, that would change. It's like anything else. If you give your body one signal, this many hours a day, and this signal much less per day, this one's going to win out. The people who have a hard time, the hardest time being barefoot, are the people who wear the least barefoot style of shoe. To go from, like high heels all day to barefoot is a pretty dramatic shift. There are muscles in our feet that, for most of us, have atrophied to the point where our feet, if you go barefoot a bunch, how much varies depending on the person. Most people's feet will actually shrink up to 2 full shoe sizes. Mine did. When I started going barefoot more, I was wearing 9.5 to 10 shoes, and now I'm 9.5. And that came as the muscles in my feet became more conditioned. Now, I was already barefoot quite a bit from training. I like being barefoot. I like walking around outside barefoot. If snakes weren't a thing, I would walk around barefoot much more. But I don't want to step on a snake. That would freak me. Everybody else wears shoes, so they must be good for me, right? Here is my belief. Stacy says, aside from class and work, she's barefoot. Well, there you go. Maybe it's time to do some things that actually strengthen your feet, like as a routine. Like, can you pick stuff up, like move your toes, like that kind of thing. There are exercises like that on the internet you can look up. I would encourage you to do so if that's something you want to get to. If you want to get to a point where you are training in class barefoot. Here is the problem with shoes. What is the bottom? What is this part of our foot called? It's an arch. What does even a 101 level or B4 architecture class teach as being incredibly strong as a design principle in buildings? Arches. An arch is very strong. The arch in our foot is very strong. Assuming you believe in evolution, and not everyone does, and that's fine, but assuming you do, our feet evolved to take the brunt of running and walking and jumping and all the things that we had to do as ancient man to not die. Do shoes really do that better? Oh, well, modern technology and everything, it's got to be better. Okay. Go do some research on joint issues and how they progressed. Numbers of them. You will see that as we developed better and better shoe technology, we had more and more problems with our bodies. What are the joint problems we have? Now, assuming that it was from, chronic inflammation and just general, widespread across the whole body, we'd have issues in all of our fingers and our wrists and our shoulders, but we don't. Where do we have our issues? Ankles, knees, hips, back. If you look at the way people change the way they walk with shoes versus no shoes. When we walk without shoes, we land in the middle of the foot. It's called a midfoot strike. You have to take short steps. When we walk with shoes, any kind of a heel, anything at all, any kind of lifted, even if the sole is thin, we land with our heel first. So all of that force that the arch evolved to take up now goes to the heel. And it goes right up through to the knee. And the knee takes the weight. The force, rather. And it just keeps moving up. And the harder you run with a heel strike, the more force your joints are absorbing that they weren't really designed to do. I am very specific about the shoes that I wear. I wear shoes that don't change the way I walk. Barefoot, minimalist style. And if you talk to a lot of martial artists, a lot of us have knee and hip problems. How do people solve that? Oh, I'm going to get better shoes. The better shoes actually make the problem worse. Not everybody wants to listen to me on this one. That's fine. But there's more than enough information out there if you want to go dig it up. Am I going to do a book convincing people not to wear shoes? No. There's no money in that. Who wants to read a book that says you shouldn't wear shoes because it's bad for you? I'll have Nike and Reebok coming after me. But the information's out there. You can find it. According to daysoftheyear.com, here are some of the core benefits involved in going barefoot. Better foot positioning. Hey, as martial artists, if you wear shoes while you train, and there are some schools that do, and in fact, if you wear shoes out in the world, as I think we all do doing some training with shoes makes all kinds of sense, because kicking with a shoe on, running, punching, jumping, all the things that you might do in a fight, in a self-defense situation, it's different. I like training barefoot. I prefer training barefoot, but I do some, I probably should do more, honestly, training with shoes. And training with shoes, or rather self-defense with shoes, gives you access to one of my favorite self-defense techniques. Taking the bottom of your shoe down the front of somebody's shin, just scrape it. Oh, is that painful? If you got a sneaker, oh, it's the worst. Improved balance and body awareness. There is a lot going on in the bottoms of our feet. Where do we have the most, the highest density of nerve endings? It's our hands. What's the second most? Do you know? It's the bottoms of our feet. Our feet are designed to give us information about our environment. Here's a great example. Many of you know that I've coached a number of fitness classes. I coached CrossFit for quite a few years. If you have someone jump on a box, you've probably seen that movement. Plyo boxes, plyo box jumps, box jump boxes, different names. Jumping on a box. If someone's wearing a shoe, they will inevitably stomp on that box. But if that same person, and I would get on those people because they're putting force through their joints they don't need to. But that same person, if I convinced them to take their shoes off and jumped on the box, they didn't stomp on the box. Why? Because they were stomping on the box because instinctively their body wanted to know that they were on the box and secure and safe. And if you take the shoes off, they don't need as much of a signal. Doesn't need to be as loud. The nerve endings in the bottom of our feet are amazing. If I go running barefoot and my foot starts to come down on a rock, I reposition my foot. Not consciously, I can't think that fast, but my body knows. It's the same instinct when if you touch something hot and you pull your hand away. You don't touch it and go, hey, this is hot, ow, 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 I'm going to remove my hand. No, it happens. Same thing with the bottom of your feet. It's pretty cool. If you want to start running barefoot or doing anything barefoot that's more than what you do now, just start slow. Don't go from, running in shoes to running the same distance barefoot. It's not going to work out well for you. There's a lot of muscles in the foot and the ankle that are going to take the load that, if you're not used to, will be difficult. When I go hiking next week, it's going to be, by that time I'm all done, close to 7 miles. And my feet are going to be tired. My ankles are going to be sore. That's okay. It's a tradition. More comfortable and can help ease pain. Maybe. Depends on what's causing the pain. But if you believe, again, I always preface it with this because I don't want people to feel offended if they have different beliefs. I have my beliefs. I am not going to tell somebody else what to believe. Assuming you believe in evolution. Our body evolved to, or maybe intelligent design, whatever. Our body is constructed in this way because it makes sense. And the more you change movement patterns, the more problematic it's going to be. Stacy says, have fun with your hike, celebrate you, and enjoy nature. I will. I'm looking forward to next week. It's going to be a good time. Bottom line, I think it's incredibly arrogant that we think that we can make shoes that are better than our feet. Our feet took a really long time to develop the way they are. I'm told I have nice feet, and I think that's because I've spent a lot of time barefoot. The muscles in my feet are pretty well evolved. I don't have hobbit feet, they're not all twisted up. They're not all hairy. I'm not going to show you my feet. That would be weird. Maybe another time. Better foot mechanics, which in turn improves things like knees, hips, and the rest of the body. Hey, I said that, didn't I? Stronger leg muscles and lower back support. Yeah. Things are in better balance. When you are barefoot, things are in better balance. So I have some knee issues. I suspect it's deteriorated cartilage. And the thing that has helped the most is being barefoot and running barefoot. The force over time strengthens the things around. And my knees are in better shape. My knees are never in better shape than at the end of the summer when I've had time to be outside barefoot, run, hike, walk barefoot. Coffee is so good. Improved posture, relief from footwear restrictions, enhanced dexterity of the lower extremities. If you put your foot in a shoe 23 hours a day, or your non-sleeping time, and then you take it off an hour, hour and a half, a couple hours a week for training, it's going to be really hard to tell your foot how to move. The way you move your ankle and your toes. This is why there are some martial artists who get really, really opinionated about whether or not retracted toe positions to strike with the ball of the foot makes sense. Some people say, look, you can't pull your toes back that way. I can. Let's see. I don't think I've ever missed and hit gone in with my toes when I meant to hit with the ball of my foot. Now, I started training when I was really young, and my body was a little more pliable and open to being developed in that way. However, if you kick low, you can still do it. But if you're expecting that you can just go from your toes being essentially dead in your shoe and not really being able to move to being able to articulate them as you want, that's not going to happen. It is the volume and the strength of the signal that you send to the body that creates adaptation. Can you tell I've been spending a lot of time on this flexibility book? If you want to get better training barefoot, if you want to be better barefoot, stronger, whatever, you have to spend more time barefoot. And there are a lot of exercises out there. A lot of this stuff's going to come from the yoga world, honestly. But you can learn this stuff. Start slow, progress. I could see a few years out, if people really want this, we may, I could see developing a transition to barefoot program, but that is not a big enough demographic for us right now that we're going to go after that. I've already got the next one picked out after flexibility. Just got to get that over the goal line, and then I'll start on that one. The next one's going to be one of the fastest ones we've ever done because it's a little more conventional. I think. Why am I yawning? All right. Growing strength and stability of muscles and joints. We think about strengthening muscles, but you can also strengthen connective tissue. Connective tissue is responsible for keeping things stable and keeping things from moving too far. And it adapts under stress just like anything else. So if you want to be a more bulletproof martial artist, I don't mean literally, of course, being barefoot is going to help you do that. If you want to be a martial artist for the rest of your life, and you have issues with hips or back or knees or whatever, it probably, I'm not a doctor, it probably makes sense. Don't listen to anything I say because I'm not a doctor. It probably makes sense that you spend more time barefoot and slowly condition up all the things related to that. So you can be barefoot as much as you want. And there is a very good shot that it helps everything. Remember, at 22, I was told The only solution to my knee pain was reducing it with some weight training or having a double knee replacement. I couldn't walk downstairs frontways. It was that bad. It ultimately came down to shoes and strengthening my feet. I can run a 5K now. Let's see, what's my record on a 5K? 23, 24 minutes? Not anything super fast. But it was barefoot, mostly on a dirt road, with a dog. And by the end, I was pulling the dog. The dog was tired. So, barefoot. Yay, barefoot! All right, good stuff. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask of all of you. There are lots of ways that you can help us out, and here are a few of them. You can contribute to the Patreon, which, guess what? We just added merch. We did not increase the price of the tiers, but if you are part of the Patreon, you now get free stuff in the tiers. Stickers or shirts or wall art, or I think there's a sweatshirt in there. We are taking less money to give you more stuff in the hope that more people will join. Okay. Go to patreon.com/whistlekick to learn more. You can also subscribe to this, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment for tomorrow. That's the #1 thing you can do to help this show. Help make it better by leaving comments after the show closes. You can follow us on social media. We're at whistlekick. If you want to make a one-time donation, you can go to whistlekickmartialartsradio.com and put something in the tip jar. You can make sure you're subscribing to all of our stuff. Go to martialjournal.com. You can buy something at whistlekick.com using the code FIRSTCUT15. There are so many ways you can help us. We try to make it easy. And hopefully, we're delivering stuff that is of value to you. I think that's it. Thanks. I will see you back here, hopefully, tomorrow, bright and early, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, for another episode of First Cut. Take care, everybody. Peace.